Hello, welcome to Bagre TV. If you are new here, please subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss our next video. What happened in pre-colonial Nigeria? Before the emergence of colonialism or British influence in Nigeria, though segmented, had a system of government. Obviously, traditional system which lived for decades before the Europeans came. Professor Oyediji in his blog said that the pre-colonial Nigeria symbolizes the methods or ways by which Nigerians governed themselves before the advent of colonialism. The pre-colonial Nigeria varies from one region to the other because of the ethno-linguistic differences. The different kingdoms of different ethnic groups had different ways of conducting activities. For example, the Hausa had a different traditional system compared to the Igbos. The Hausas had a more centralized system of leadership. The emir, being the supreme leader, had subjects submitting to his leadership without scrutiny or objections. The major reason why indirect rule was a major success in the north during the colonial era, leaving the emir with so much power. The Igbos had a decentralized traditional system of leadership. They were ruled in clans. The Igbo was more of a figurehead. Experts refer to them as chiefless society, one of the reasons why indirect rule was almost impossible in the East. In this video, we will be looking at what happened during pre-colonial Nigeria, taking into account the major ethnic group Hausa-Fulani, Igbo, and Yoruba. The Yorubas practiced monarchical system of leadership, but unlike the Hausas, theirs was not highly centralized, for the Oba or chief did not have so much power that he can do and undo like the Sultan or Emir. Oyediji, talking about the Yorubas during pre-colonial Nigeria, claims that the Oba is not an absolute ruler and there is checks and balances. Examples of Yoruba kingdom are Oyo Kingdom, Ijesha, Ijebu, Abeokuta, and so on. The Oba was seen as a political and spiritual head, and he usually comes from a royal family, mostly the eldest son of the deceased king. The Oba was highly respected by his people, and he was addressed as Kabiesi, meaning no one questions you. But even with that level of respect according to him, he still had checks and balances. And this is because the Yoruba culture believed that one must respect the wishes of the people. The Oba can be checked by others such as Oyomesi, the kingmakers, Ogboni courts, warlords, and so on. In the Yoruba kingdom, during pre-colonial Nigeria, the Oba was assisted by Otun, Iyalode, and the rest. The kingmakers, Oyomesi, were charged with the responsibilities of appointing the king. They were 7 and they had to be notable individuals in the community. They had their ways of curbing the king's excesses or bringing to an end a tyrant king by making him open a calabash. That was an order for the king to commit suicide. They had machinery in place to make the Oba's task easy, like the Ogboni courts, who were in charge of performing sacrifices on behalf of the Oba and community. They also checked the excesses of the Oba and Oyomesi. The warlords were there too, headed by Are Ona Kakanfo, the chief warlord. He provided military support to the kingdom and had extraordinary powers, reasons why he lived outside the community. Igbos. The Igbos, as we have said earlier, had a decentralized traditional system. They were ruled in clans by family heads most times. Some scholars refer to the Igbo traditional system as acephalous. It was believed that the Igbos were too democratic and egalitarian to survive under any centralized system. The Igbo leadership system was said to be an indirect democracy on the village level with a representative assembly of the village group. The Igbos did not have kings or chiefs, as the ruling power was vested in the Ohanaeze, the Council of Elders. According to Nuoha and Omema, the Igbos had 4 levels in their political system during this era: the family, the kindred, the village, and the town. They were governed according to these levels. Chinua Achebe's classics, Things Fall Apart, draws a vivid picture of the Igbo traditional system through his characters. Hausa-Fulani. This ethnic group's political system can be attributed to Usman Dan Fodio's Jihad, Holy War of 1804. Usman had a goal of Islamizing the north, where he conquered and replaced most of the chiefs with Fulani emirs. The centralized system practiced in the Hausa-Fulani kingdom can be attributed to this man. They had what is known as an emirate system, having emirs as the head. The emirates had 2 headquarters, one at Gwandu and the other at Sokoto, headed by emirs of Sokoto and Gwandu, respectively. The emir was an absolute ruler. He had so much power at his disposal, though he had people who assisted him in carrying out duties at local levels like Hakimi, district head, and alkali judge. In the Hausa-Fulani pre-colonial era, Sharia law was used to govern the people. Most of the emir's decisions were taken in accordance to this law. Unlike the Yorubas and the Igbos, who believed in a particular deity for spiritual guidance, this ethnic group relied solely on Islam for guidance. There were Hausa-Fulani minor leaders like Galadima, Madawaki, Dogari, Maji, Sakenruwa, who assisted the emir but had little or no say in the emir's decisions. There was no system of checks and balances like the Yorubas, so the emir, who was seen as a political and religious leader, had absolute powers. Pre-colonial Nigeria had a lot of narratives of kingdoms warring against one another, like the stories of Moremi, Queen Amina of Zazua, and the likes. It is not true that pre-colonial Nigerian kingdoms were not civilized or had an organized systems of government like the whites will tell you. It was these systems that the British took over during the colonial era. What have you missed in this narrative? Let us know in the comment section. If you like this video, please share and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.